Oh yeah! Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back for another episode of Huntertuned. Figured I'd start the video off by giving a huge shout out and a huge thank you to Eric Orange Built on Instagram. He actually sent over an oil catch can with the fittings and an extra cam seal for me for the CRX. Now, he actually makes these custom builds like manifolds for exhaust, catch cans, you name it. And he said that this was one of the one piece that he didn't do a very good job on, and man, this thing looks awesome. I cannot stack beads like that on aluminum to save my life, so you have got me topped way better. So yeah, this is awesome. This is a really good product, I think. It's got a nice drain here on the bottom. You just can unscrew this to drain the catch can if it ever fills up on you, and then it's got two -10 bungs on it as well. The filter on the top is a really good filter. This thing is not going anywhere. A lot of times on some catch cans, these are actually pretty loose fit, but this one actually is very tight. It doesn't seem like it's going to be moving at all. So that's awesome. These fittings too, these are the ones that actually go into the back of the block. They go where there's normally like a freeze plug or like an oil plug or whatever in the block that these actually replace. This is like a special thread pitch. It's a very big pipe thread, and it converts it to -10 AN lines. So we're going to be putting those in and running some lines to the catch can today, and hopefully get the CRX on the road with the supercharger. But yeah, if you guys haven't followed Eric Orange Built on Instagram, be sure to go follow him. I'll link it in the description. And yeah, you guys can go check out all the stuff that he does. Okay, so I left off yesterday on the video and needed to change the oil on the car because I had to remove the oil filter and it got all banged up. So I got a new oil and filter and whatnot. So since the filter's off, I figure we might as well install the catch can fittings into the back of the motor before we get the new filter and new oil and everything in. So if you haven't seen in the previous video, I kind of showed how to get those things out if they're stuck. I actually welded an axle nut to the end of one of the stripped out plugs in the block and got it out that way. Otherwise, it is a 14mm Allen head to get the plugs out. So yeah, I'm going to actually get those plugs out quick and install the fittings that Eric Orange sent me, and then we can get our -10 lines. I actually got two pieces of -10 here that I hope are long enough for the catch can, and then yeah, we can pick up once those fittings are in. So now we're making some AN line. This is -10, and a quick tip to cut your AN line. This is probably the best way to do it. You take some electrical tape here and you just tape it around where you want to cut, and then a lot of people use like a die grinder or cutoff wheel, but I tend to get phrase whenever I use a cutoff wheel, but if you use a bolt cutter actually works the best in my opinion. The bolt cutter almost like pinches the hose together, so it's easier to get your fitting on this chunk here. It's easier to get this one on. Alright, so I cleaned up the end of this. There's a couple frayed out pieces that I just cut with a side cutter, and now we're looking pretty dialed. Dog pile chicken smile. And I'm just going to put a little bit of oil on the end of this hose here so it slides into the fitting better. Another trick you can do is if it's cold outside, you can actually take the fitting here and put it next to the heater. And get it warmed up a little bit. And then put it back in the vise. Now you can do it without oil, and I'll show you right here that you can. You just gotta push it into the fitting. You gotta have some manpower. Alright, so now the hose is installed into the end, and you want to bring the hose all the way up to where the threads start on the fitting. And we're looking pretty good. I forgot, while filming, I forgot to take the tape off. But once you take the tape off, it slid in pretty easily. I shouldn't say easy, you gotta use some fucking juice.
Yeah.
Alright. Now, we put the other end of the fitting on, and this pretty much just slides into here, and then you tighten it down. Okay, to get this fitting installed, you really just gotta push hard to get it seated into the hose, and then you get the thread started, and once the thread is started, you can just tighten it down. You wanna leave about a fingernail's width of a gap between the blue part and the red part. I don't know why, but I don't know, engine builders just tell you you're supposed to do that. I've never had no problems running it all the way down, but you know, just a precautionary measure. But yeah, there's one fitting done. Now we got 3 more to go, and I'll pick up when the hoses are done. All right, there we are. I got my hoses made, got all the fittings installed. I did 2 straights on one side and then 2 45s for the side on the block. And that should work out pretty good. Now I'm just gonna get these installed on and put them onto the catch can. Okay guys, so I just got the oil catch can all installed. You can see here that it's just sitting right in the engine bay. That sucker ain't going nowhere, rock solid. Actually fits pretty nice right there. And I got my 2 -10 lines connected to it, and then on the back of the block, I'll show you here quick. Hopefully you guys can see, but yeah, I got the 2 plugs in there, and then the lines hooked up to them. This one on the left side, I could not get tight to save my life because all this stuff was in the way. So I actually took the oil filter off, and I lowered the intermediate shaft bracket, took those 3 14mm bolts out, and then I was able to tighten that one up. So they're all tight, all good to go. So now I'm going to drain the oil on this thing. Gonna drain the oil, and once the oil's drained out of it, I'm gonna put new stuff in. I got some Schaefer's 1540. Only the good stuff, baby. This stuff's awesome. So yeah. Once I get fresh oil in this thing, I'm gonna actually modify my intake so it fits, and we'll do that next. Alright, so now I'm actually modifying my velocity stack intake so I can get this thing situated in here. It sucks because where the throttle body is now, it's actually interfering with these brake lines. As you can see, it doesn't fit. So I think I'm just going to trim it down a little bit and shorten this. And we'll go from there and see how that is. Alright guys, I'm letting it warm up for the first time. Everything seems good. I got my intake on. I had to modify it a little bit, but it's looking good. And I told you in the last video that I cleaned the block off really well to find any oil leaks. And I did find the oil leak that I've been having right here. It's starting to seep out of the VTEC solenoid where it meets right here and on the side. Doesn't look like anything else is leaking though. I think this alternator squeals a little bit. I don't know, something might be wrong with it. But yeah, she's running smooth as butter. Sounds like there's a squirrel under my hood. The tune is a lot leaner too, so I'm definitely gonna have to retune this thing. Even just at idle, it's like probably 15% leaner than it was before, which makes sense because the supercharger is just blowing air, which is making the air-fuel ratio leaner. Yeah! I got a good feeling about this thing. I'm really hoping it's gonna rip. Oh yeah! So I actually just took this thing out for its first drive. I didn't film any of it because I was actually live streaming. If you guys missed that, hit the bell for sure, right next to the subscribe button, and you'll be notified every time that I go live or post a new video. But I did take this thing out, and it seems to be running good. It's definitely hitting boost. I had some issues where it had some spark blowout, so I'm going to have to get some spark plugs for it tomorrow. And gap them down, which I just gapped the ones that are in here down, but they're still the factory heat range. I'll probably get some BKR7s and gap them down to make this thing work good. But for the time being, it definitely hits boost. It blows the tires off in third gear so far, with the roads being a little damp. So I can't wait till tomorrow. Hopefully it's going to be nice outside, and we'll get some good pulls in on some dry roads with boost and the supercharger. So yeah, I'm super happy. This thing's running pretty good. The only issue that it's having so far is that the supercharger belt actually started to walk off a little bit, starting to walk off of the pulley, but I think I'm just going to leave it and see if it gets any worse. I might try to reposition it, but for now it seems like it's okay. And then I got to fix a little oil leak on my VTEC solenoid, but nothing major. So seems to be running good. So tomorrow I'm going to be putting in this boost gauge. This is just one Michael gave me, and it's just some Harbor Freight boost gauge, and I'm just going to throw it in temporarily to see how much boost it is on, just because it kind of be cool to know, I guess. Throw the boost gauge in tomorrow, and then we will retune it for the supercharger. I just threw a quick base map on it, and I mean, I didn't even go over like $4,000. So I just wanted to see if everything was working and if it was coming into boost, and it sure is. So yeah, tomorrow tuning and the boost gauge, and we'll be all good to go. I have another car getting dropped off tomorrow as well. We're doing a turbo kit, and I'm tuning that as well. So look forward to those videos. But for the time being, thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe and like the video. And yeah, hopefully you guys appreciate all the content I've been pushing out for you guys. Kind of been busting my ass like always, and pounding videos out and working on shit. So hopefully you guys still enjoy. Hopefully I'll have some money in my pocket after doing this turbo build and tuning on this car, and we can get the transmission for the Mustang within a week or two and get the Mustang in the garage, because I'm jonesing to get that thing done. But yeah, anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good night.